I'm not even surprised anymore at this point. And I'm going to do my best to keep a cool head because I'm recording this a few hours after the game is over. Because I genuinely just didn't want to rage about nothing. Because that's what it is at this point. All these videos are, and especially the last couple, have just been me absolutely raging about the exact same shit for the exact same amount of time. Because it's just on repeat, this team, with losing. And it has nothing to do, really, even with the fact that they've lost 7 in a row. It has more to do with the fact that nothing can change this. Nothing. Oh, let's tweak the offense a little bit. That's the problem. The offense is the problem. Matthew Perreault will be the gem that we need to jumpstart that top 6, without a doubt, without question. And Jordy Ben, he has been awful. So let's put in Logan Stanley because that's the defenseman all of us have been clamoring about getting into the lineup. And every day, it seems like every hour of every day. Like, is it bad at this point that I would rather the Jets lose every single game left in the season just so that Maurice has a higher chance of getting fired at this point than them actually somehow pulling a couple wins out of their asses with the last whatever amount of games are left this season? Because I really just don't give a flying fuck anymore about this season or about this team or about this coach or about anything to really do with this season and the Winnipeg Jets as a whole. Because, yeah, it's been up and down, but I've been preaching this shit along with every other tolerable smart fan for a long time. And I'm not even as much of a hater of Paul Maurice or whatnot as other people are, because up until this season, I still was a fan of Paul Maurice. Even last year with my critiques of him, I thought, you know what? With this year, with Ville Heinola, with Samber, with all these young guys coming up, there's no way that our defense stays as shit. I couldn't have been any wronger. I couldn't have been any wronger. And it's just pathetic at this point. Like, what do you need me to talk about, really? Really, you come here for entertainment. You come here to hear Peg City Hockey give his thoughts on the Jets game, to rant, to scream, and all that. And I'm not going to give it to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to do it. You know why? Because tonight is my birthday. May 3rd is my birthday. Thank you all for the birthday wishes on that Dylan DeMello video, by the way. Very sweet. I didn't expect to get that many people watching until the last, 10th second of the video. Basically, that's when I announced my birthday thing, so whatever. So thank you so much for those birthday wishes. But that's why I'm not going to get mad about this game, because it's my birthday and I didn't even ask. That wasn't even my wish that the Jets would win tonight, because I knew they wouldn't. And there's no point in praying to some, distant star or a shooting star and making a wish, crossing my toes and fingers and praying that the Jets could have a win, because it's against the Ottawa Senators. And if you actually thought the Jets were going to somehow show up and beat the Ottawa Senators tonight and snap their losing streak, man, I feel like you just don't know this team anymore, because I just knew the moment I saw that the Jets were playing the Ottawa Senators on my birthday amidst a 6-game losing streak, there was no freaking way that they were winning. Absolutely not, especially with my luck. But nonetheless, this game happened, and it was boring, and there were good things in this game, and that's the sad thing, because I don't see a point on talking about any of the positive. I really don't, and I don't think there's a point on even trying to justify my opinion there, because what is the point of anything anymore? This team is such a joke that what's the point on focusing on Josh Morrissey or hell, any type of positives? Because seriously, I said this in my last video where they lost against 3-1 to Montreal. If you're relying on Trevor Lewis to score 2 goals to be your offensive spark to propel you to a win, and then the same thing happens this game and relying on Josh Morrissey to be your catalyst to propel you to a win, you know you're already on the you're already 1 foot over the cliff at that point. What did you think anything else would be any different? The moment I could see by the end of the first period, how desperate the Jets were and how close they were getting at scoring, I knew they were going to lose this game. I knew it. And I hate to sound pessimistic. I hate to sound like some asshole. And I don't like to tell people and fans especially how to be a fan. But seriously, when it comes to this, I can't care anymore. I want them to lose. What's the point on trying to tread water and win to get your confidence back up to go into the first round and lose to any of the opponents? I don't care if we statistically are matching up on ice or the eye test or anything at this point. What's the point? I honestly look at the Maple Leafs, the Habs, and the Oilers. There is not a single way I don't think the Jets beat any of those teams, because the Jets' horrible issues, the issues that have been plaguing them for the last few seasons, have finally come to light, have finally been brought out of the closet and into the open for everyone to see, and everyone hates it and sees how disgusting it is, because this is what the Jets are. This is their identity. Horrible defense, lazy play, desperate forwards that can't score, and an elite forward core on top of that that's just mediocre. The definition of mediocre. Without a doubt, this team is just playing so heartless. Again, all these things I've said before, but it's when are you going to snap out of it? 7 games in, 7-game losing streak. A 7-game losing streak going into the playoffs, nonetheless. 7 games so far. Even if you win the next game against Calgary on Wednesday, or whenever the game, I guess on Wednesday, actually, because since today is Monday, point being, if you actually somehow win that game, and you don't go down 8 losing L's in a row, God, even just saying that out loud makes my skin boil, and the cringe meter in my body just go off the charts. 7 losses. This is just a joke. It's pathetic at this point. There's nothing that's good. There's no point on talking about any of the positives. 5 minutes into this video, you've heard all my thoughts so far. What's the point on focusing on the positives? What's the point on talking about any of this? When Paul Maurice is just going to come out and say, we had a bad night. It was a bad night where we couldn't get any puck luck. That's his excuse every night, and it's his excuse tonight as well. You think that, if you were able to score a goal in the first, you're able to win this game? You think it's a very close game? You think you deserve to win? You didn't. Even this, it doesn't make any sense. You can't justify that anymore. You can't come out and say we deserve to win after you lose consistently 6 times in a row, 7 times in a row. Who cares at this point? Do you actually think anyone is listening to you and the media actually cares about what you have to say? Do you actually think that, Paul Maurice? Let me ask you that. Is that a question? Yes, it is a question. Because you will never answer me, because you never answer anybody. You lie to the media. You lie to the fans. You probably lie to the ownership of this team by sending them lives on this, how great we are, and how this team is the next incarnation of the Oilers, and how we're going to be a dynasty for years to come. But we're just not quite there yet. And we have been that way for 8 years now with you? 7 years? Get the hell out of here. We've advanced once in the playoffs. 1 year we've advanced with Paul Maurice at our reign. One year we've been able to advance out of the first round. And that 1 year we did very well. But look at the other years. Underperforming in St. Louis, basically not even deserving to be in the playoffs last year against Calgary, and then whatever this shit show is going to be this year in a couple of weeks when we go in and play whoever the hell it's going to be, even if we can make the playoffs. And you might be thinking, we're going to make the playoffs, right, Jake? What are you talking about? Why do you sound like that? The fact that they haven't clinched 3 weeks ago, if you would have told me that, I would have slapped you silly across the face. There's no way that the Jets haven't clinched yet, not with this many games left in the season, not with the way the North Division looks. The fact that there is even a possibility that the Jets might not be able to make the playoffs, no matter how slim or impossible that is to come true, is just pathetic and just shows that they shouldn't be even in the playoffs at this point. Because how are you going to go from being the second best team, with very loose quotations around that, in the North Division, to being a team basically making it into the last spot in the division? And that's what you're going to compete with that? And don't give me we're tanking on purpose, because at first I thought maybe this was a possibility. Maybe they're tanking to play the Leafs because they realize that's their best chance of getting out of the first round. And even if some crazy hypothetical theory like that is true, I can make a point where, that makes a little bit of sense. But this team is heartless, soulless. There's no way this team would go out there and be this embarrassed night in and night out and play this heartless without, trying to tank. With no way. Look at the top 6. The way the top 6 plays alone should be enough to tell you that this is just the identity of the club. There's nothing positive about this team. There's nothing good to talk about. The coaching staff is beyond incompetent. And hell, I would literally have my Pee-wee hockey coach from when I was 6 years old come up and coach the Jets, and I guarantee you they would learn more from him than they would from any of the coaches that they currently have right now on the Jets. Because let's be real, they're horrible. And I hate to be putting people down and trash talking on the coaches constantly, but I'm done with this. How many times in a row are you going to ill-equip your team and send out you're not your best roster and expect results? And Matthew Perreault jumping up is going to be your option, pulling out Jordy Ben for Logan Stanley and not even Ville Heinola? That's your best play to beat the Senators? Are you kidding me? Isn't it ironic that Ville Heinola and Josh Morrissey have played an amazing game against the Senators at the start of the year? We're coming into the playoffs. You told everyone there was going to be an even rotation and an even opportunity for the 3 guys in Logan Stanley, Ben, and Heinola to prove themselves, to try to get a chance to be consistent NHLers for this year and going into the playoffs. How much of a lie was that? You gave Stanley a game before you pulled him out. You gave Heinola a game before you pulled him out. You gave Ben however many it is because grit and leadership? Get the fuck out of here with that. No way that is the only excuse. And the fact that I have to be able to look at the Jets and just be real and think that that's probably Paul Maurice's excuse and reason for keeping Jordy Ben in for as long as he did and keeping the lineups the way they are in general is pathetic. The fact that Mark Scheifele is going out there and playing and trying to match up and play defense against these top lines is pathetic. Look at Mark Scheifele tonight. Look at the top 6 tonight. They barely stayed afloat at times against Ottawa. The moment that Shorty went in the first period, I knew what this game was going to be, and it was just going to be disappointment, because that's all the Jets are: disappointment and mediocrity. And what's the point on even watching the games anymore? Seriously, there is no point on watching the games. Like, even my cat wants to escape my room right now because he's tired of hearing me talk about the fucking Jets and how much they're losing. He's like, I listen to you every day. It's like a broken record at this point, because it is. I am a broken record. I'm broken. Like, I'm not going to get mad because it's my birthday and I've had a couple drinks and I'm having a good time. But the point being is that the Jets are just pathetic. And if you actually thought that they were going to win this game, you got to pull your head out of your ass and realize that we're not going anywhere. And the fact that this isn't just, a precedented situation where we're losing games. This is a heartless, soulless team that is ill-equipped to win games because of the current way their roster is structured. The players and whatever not they have, they send out. The coaching staff, the way they structure a team, the way they play offense, the way they play defense, the way they move the puck, everything. Everything is wrong with this club. Without question. And even if next game, going into Calgary, you're like, damn, Paul Maurice has got to do something. Like, I'm sorry, he should already be fired. And I don't care if you have 2 games before the playoffs. If you have 1 game before the playoffs, or hell, if you're starting the playoffs the next day, fire him. I would rather have an unexpected random coach come in and see what could happen without Paul Maurice than have Paul Maurice's guys get swept or beaten in 5 games in the first round. There's no way we're getting past the Leafs. Maybe we could steal 2 games from the Leafs. Maybe we could get that lucky and make a 6-game series. Maybe. If we were lucky to get that. I don't see us beating the Leafs. There's no way we can beat the Leafs in 7. Not with the way they're playing now. The Leafs will tear apart our defense with opportunistic scoring because they actually know how to drive the play, make basic, simple passing plays, and move the puck and be a dynamic offensive team, unlike the Jets. And it's just pathetic because how are you going to have this many dynamic, different type of players? A sniper in Kyle Connor, a dynamic offensive weapon in Scheifele, an elite passer in Blake Wheeler. Obviously, maybe not a top 6 guy anymore, but point being, still an elite passer. Then you have your depth with Lowry, a great depth center who can score. Appleton, a guy who can come in and score as well. Not even to mention Andrew Copp, Paul Stastny, all these different types of role players and players that can plug in and score and still be effective. Yet you're telling me you can't produce anything at an NHL level against the Ottawa Senators on a 6-game losing streak, making it 7. And your answer, Paul Maurice, is that the team needs to be better and it was just not our night. I'm done with this, and you should be too. Like, at this point, you should just be calm, collective, and realize that this team is not going anywhere. It's a sinking ship. It's worse than the Titanic is. You better get off now if you're a player, basically. And I don't mean asking for a trade, but what's the point on trying? Seriously, if you're a player at this point. Trevor Lewis and Josh Morrissey have been our unsung heroes last 2 games. Offensively. If your offense can't produce at the simplest level, yet you have to rely on guys like that to keep you in a game, how do you expect to win anything at a playoff level, at a high-intensity series? You can't. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes on for longer. I hope it does for the sake of getting Paul Maurice fired, because this club is not going anywhere this year, and it's blatantly obvious. So we lose again. Not a surprise, and let's see what happens going into this next matchup, because I'm not taking anything away from this team. I would not. It was not out of the realm of possibilities that they definitely drop 8 in a row, starting with the Calgary Flames on Wednesday. So let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, if you're a fan of the Winnipeg Jets, but more importantly, a fan of hockey, regardless of the team you root for, definitely consider dropping a subscription as always and helping us propel us towards that 1K subscriber goal. Follow all of my social medias down in the description below. Turn on notifications if you haven't already. Peace, love, and positivity as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that may be. You know as hell I ain't saying it this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, bye-bye, have a good night, happy birthday to me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.